Guys, with joy, with spirit, with passion, we are going to spend all day celebrating incredible work. And let's start right now. First print, please.
I've been entering into print competitions since 2017. When inspiration struck for the Serpent's Promise, it actually came from this other image that I was working on for print competition. It was called The Desires of the Serpent. I was so in love with the concept of working with this beautiful snake. His name's Ohio. His name is actually spelled out in his scales. It's pretty cool. One of my favorite pieces that I ever created for print competition was this image of a young girl splitting down the middle between two different worlds. Everything in the image was real. The tables, the chairs, everything, including her reaching into the two-dimensional world. I like to evoke emotion with my art. A few years ago, I was chatting with some LexJet representatives, and they were showing me these really cool prints that had this spot glossing technique, and they introduced me to the Canon Colorado printer. I knew right then that I had to create something specifically for this technique. That's the impetus for Serpent's Promise. To do something completely unique.
So when I saw the image, I knew that there was going to be this differentiating factor that she could bring to the competition that nobody else would bring. She's just such a great artist, and I think the marriage between her art and putting it onto something that's really beautiful, and the flex mode on this printer where it's a different finish than the matte to the gloss, she could apply it to any surface of that picture and create a 3D image almost, where it's basically giving it textural differences in certain areas of the image.
We had a lot of communication that we did. We went back and forth many, many times. I think we ended up printing about 20 different test prints to see what was going to look best. Now, I tried to take the easy route out, and I tried to do the spot gloss technique on the whole subject, including the snake. Then we tried doing just the snake. It just wasn't jumping off the print like I wanted it to. In the end, what I ended up doing was going through and selecting every single scale on Ohio.
It wasn't hard to get Fish up to date on how to do this because really she had background knowledge in Photoshop, and all it is adding a channel layer that is called a specific spot color and then painting that spot into those areas where she wanted the texture to come out.
Ohio has about 60,000 scales on his body. I worked on this for about 40 plus hours. When I received my final print from Michael, I was so ecstatic. The spot glassing feature was going to be phenomenal.
So as soon as this image comes around, all the judges lean in. That's what we do. We lean in to get a better look. As soon as you get close to it, you could see there's something really unique going on. Certain parts of the image were reacting differently, like with more specular highlights and almost reflective. And I thought it must have been done by hand, and that happens sometimes, but it turns out it was the printer. How cool is that?
Well done at producing something that is unique, that is different in so many different levels, but then just taking it that next step and presenting us with something that is really quite wonderful. Something has been added afterwards. It's been painted in to the print to take this to another level. I mean, wow just keeps coming to mind.
Well, it's just so captivating from a story perspective. It makes me wonder, what more is there to this than what meets the eye?
We decided to print it on Sunset SUV fine art paper. The paper itself has just a really light texture to it, and then the spot glossing just really popped and brought everything to life.
I personally was taken back by how sharp that came out, because when you're looking at images that close up and you're under a microscope like that, you really want to see sharpness and detail, and that's what they look for in those print competitions.
And the winners are, in third place, we have Felicia Sunders.
I love to push boundaries. I love to make people think outside the box. I created something that has never been done in print competition. I did spot glossing. And I just cannot wait to create again using Canon printers for the next competition.